Hey everybody. Happy Saturday. Uh, it is absolutely gorgeous out. We have had some of the best weather the last couple of days. I hope that everyone is enjoying it. It's been a long winter, so that's one thing about Vermont that I absolutely love. It's a long wait, but it's totally worth it. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. I just wanted to get on here and make a video for the moms and dads, just kind of talking about some things that will be happening at preschool as we move forward and reopen on June 1st. So I've sent out some information, about what things are going to look like. I know it's helpful for me. Reading things and having information for me to digest is great. I also am like a talker and a listener, and I like to kind of hash things out, and hear people talk about things too. I think that's super helpful. So I thought it would be helpful if I got on here and just kind of talked about some stuff, and maybe I'll answer some of your questions that you may have. And if not, definitely reach out to me via email, so we can talk about some stuff and ease any of the anxieties that you have, or just questions, anything. So that's what I am here for. I contemplated doing like a Zoom meeting, but I didn't really want to have to like lock people in, to that. So I figure if I do this, at least the video is available for you to watch when you have a moment to do so. And it's just there for you to use kind of as a resource. So that, and at this point, I'm so used to staring at myself in the the computer screen. I was like, why not? So that's what this is for. That's the point of this. I'm just gonna run down some stuff. I'm sure that I'll miss some things. I have some notes written down of things that I want to touch base about, but I'm sure I'll miss some things. So please reach out if you have any questions, or you need clarity, or anything like that. And there'll be more information to come also. It's a process for sure. We're all doing our best to navigate these new times, and to keep up with the guidance that's coming out, and creating some procedures and protocols and just logistics. That's what this is for. So I hope you find it useful and helpful. So first of all, I guess I just want to say that I am so very grateful to be a part of EJRP and to be a part of an organization that is just so dedicated to community and to progress and to thinking outside the box and being creative with solutions, and really just moving forward, even during times of challenge and hardship and adversity, and really trying to figure out what we can do to work with the community and the people in it. So I'm so grateful. Not everyone right now during these times can reopen their businesses, safely or at all. And, there's a lot of childcare programs out there, that are not reopening on June 1st and potentially won't at all. And, that's going to be a big problem moving forward. But for right now, I am so grateful to be a part of an organization that, we can do that, and we can do it well. We have the resources, we have the wherewithal, we have the passion, we have the creative solutions to make it happen. So I'm just so grateful. I'm also really grateful for you families. Thank you so much for sticking with us through all of this. It's a crazy time for everyone, and to be able to kind of ride it out together has been awesome. And thank you all so much for just being supportive. So thank you so much for all of that. All right, so moving forward, we're gonna we're not going to have all of our families with us this summer, and that's that's a real bummer. Naturally, once in a while, we have some families that don't come for the summer because they don't need childcare. But this summer's a little bit different because there's some things that are going on, and people are making the best decisions that they can. So I want to say to the families that are not coming back for the summer, if this is the last time that, I get the opportunity, I want to say thank you so much for, letting us take care of your kids. And we absolutely adore them, and they are amazing. And it's been our absolute privilege to do so. And I do hope as we move forward in the summer, there's an opportunity for us to at least come together and maybe have some sort of a celebration or some sort of closure, like an end of the year celebration, or a graduation of sorts, because these kiddos missed out, on a big chunk of the school year, and so that's a bummer. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll be in touch with like a celebration or whatever. So moving forward, I was told the other day that I'm super long-winded, so I apologize. And I think I am. I talk a lot. I have a lot of things to say, but I'll try to keep it short and sweet. So moving forward with the guidelines. So one of the things that I want to touch base about is, we're going to have some pretty strict guidelines for like signs of illness and things like that with both staff and children. This is the time that we have to be super diligent and super aware of, things that are happening. And we need to, be sure that we are, being safe, and we're taking things, seriously. So, if your kiddo is sick, runny nose, fever, cough, whatever. I mean, definitely fever, obviously. But even, just like a cold, those things happen, especially now as we kind of get back into the mix of things. There might be colds and stuff. But we are going to have to be pretty strict about that. And so if there is any illness, we're asking, parents to really be mindful of that and to keep their kids home. And then same with staff. Staff are not going to be, allowed to come to work if they are not, feeling well. We really need to adhere to those, those guidelines for sure. That's one way that we can do. That's one thing that we can do to really keep each other healthy. So I wanted to touch base with that. We also understand that there's allergies and things like that. And so if your kid has a perpetual runny nose, which some kids do, or a cough that they've had since they were 2, different story. But we definitely have to just kind of keep a pulse on all of those things. And then there's also going to be some strict guidelines with children being able to adhere to facial, the face coverings, the cloth coverings for sure. So kids are really going to need to be able to wear those, and to be mindful of keeping them on and being safe with them, and also social distancing. And I'll go into a little bit more of what that's going to look like at preschool. But those are things that we really need to make sure that on our end, we are teaching children how to, do these things, and, setting really clear expectations, and positive reinforcement, and all the things that we already do in the classroom, but just doing them with the social distancing piece and the facial coverings, just to make sure that we can all keep each other safe. So that's one of the other things that we're going to be pretty strict on, is making sure that kiddos can really do that. And I have no doubt that they will, that they won't be rock stars. Like everyone will be a rock star and they'll do great. But if those challenges arise, we'll definitely chat about them to make sure that we can come up with a plan for them. But like I said, I think that will be great. So we are definitely going to have to work together as a program and as a community and families to really work together to adhere to all the CDC, the Department of Health, the Agency of Education, like all of those guidelines, to make sure that even outside of preschool, we are doing what we can, to be safe. And so when we come to preschool, we can be confident that, we're not putting, children, staff, other families at risk. So we'll definitely be coming up with like a checklist or like a questionnaire. I'm not sure if we'll do it daily. It might be at like drop off, ask some questions, have you been hearing to the CDC guidelines? Have you been in touch with anyone that has, COVID-19? So that's something that we're working on right now, what exactly that checklist will look like. But there's definitely going to be some accountability for all of us to really make sure that we are being aware of that, not just in the preschool, but outside as well, and really doing our best to follow those guidelines. So that's something that I'll be working on, and I will send along to families. And then, so I talked a little bit about face coverings. We're not really calling them masks because those are the term mask is really designated for doctors, nurses, essential personnel. So face coverings is what we're calling them. So child size, face cloth coverings, bandanas might be a great way to have kiddos wear those, because we are going to have to teach them how to take them off. So if they wrap around, ooh, there's a bee. If they wrap around, the ears, like making sure to take them off like this so our hands are not up inside there. I was given the idea that bandanas might be easy for small kiddos because it's easy to tie around the back, and then you can kind of pull the bottom if you kind of need, like a break from that, and then you're not touching it. So I think that there's some options out there. I'm sure at this point, most kiddos probably have something that they are already wearing out in public. Yeah, I know that this is going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging for us as adults, right? I've gone out in public with them as well, and they are uncomfortable, and it's going to be hot and sticky, and a whole bunch of other things. But I also know that kids roll with it, right? We're going to be right there with them. Staff are going to be wearing them. Teachers are going to be wearing them right there with them. We can model that our reaction to it, our narrative around them, isn't going to be, oh, it's hot and it's uncomfortable. We will acknowledge those times when it is. But you know what? This is what we do to keep each other, healthy and safe. And this is just what we're doing right now. And that's okay. And we can do it. Kids are so resilient. They are capable of so much if we give them the opportunity, to do that and to shine. I think they're gonna rock it. They're gonna be amazing. And when there are times that it's just too much and I'm hot and I just need a break, those breaks will absolutely be available. We'll make sure that they have their own space and they can take a little break and do what they need to do and drink some water and just, be okay. And that's where we're going to be super flexible. I mean, we're going to be flexible around a lot of this because a lot of this is logistics and just figuring it out. But that's something that we're very aware of. And I know that's causing some anxiety for kids. It's causing some anxiety for adults. But we also need to be aware that this probably isn't going to go away anytime soon. And there's a big chance that these kiddos are going to be heading into kindergarten wearing masks, wearing those facial cloth coverings. Like that is a very real reality. So if we can offer them some opportunities, to build that tolerance and to build some resiliency around it now in the summer, let's do that. let's give them the chance to do that. So when they go into kindergarten, and if that is an expectation, they're already a leg up and they're like, you know what? I have already done this at preschool with my friends and it was fine and we made it through and it was awesome. So just kind of flipping the script a little bit and trying not to think about it in such a negative way, and just kind of leaning into it, right? Just lean into the fact that this is where we're at right now and this is what we have to do and it's okay. We'll make it. We'll be okay. The alternative is to stay inside at home forever, and I don't think that's a feasible option, and I don't think it's a realistic one. So I think it's if we can provide them an opportunity to do this in like a safe, emotionally safe and physically safe environment, let's do it. So that's that about the facial cloth coverings. So drop off and pickup procedures are going to be very different. At least in the beginning, guidance is telling us that, families are not allowed inside the building just to reduce, the rate of people, that are coming in and shared space and whatnot. So again, I will be in touch with exactly what that procedure will look like. But it will probably be, you come to preschool in the morning and you'll check out front to make sure that there's no family kind of like in line or, waiting to come in. You'll be kind of out of the car and sending your kiddo with their backpack up the stairs of preschool, and we will have one of our teachers right up in the front who's doing intake each morning. So Miss Amy will be in her classroom. I will be in my classroom, and then we'll have a teacher doing intake to have kiddos come in, and there'll be some sort of a screening process, and that will involve somehow asking about that checklist, that questionnaire that we talked about, checking with parents real quick about that, and then taking a daily temperature. So just quickly taking the temperature to make sure the kiddos are okay, visually looking, yep, they look spry and ready to rock. And then they're going to come into their classroom, wash hands immediately, go and put their things in their cubby. So procedures are going to look a little different, and I know that's going to be really hard for us as social creatures and moms and dads, because we want to know what's going on with our kiddos. And I know, as a teacher who opens up in the morning, like I love having conversations with families in the morning. It's a great way to connect. It's a really great way to start our day. And so that will be challenging for sure, but I know that we can make it work. And we'll always have the opportunity to email, phone calls, all of those things. Like the communication is not over. We'll be creative with how we do that. So challenging, yes, but totally doable. And I know that we can figure out a way to feel good about it. And then pickup procedure will be very similar, where, we'll have a teacher, bring like kiddos, to families. And so we'll have to be mindful of kind of staggering times and just being aware, kind of like, I keep thinking about like an ATM, like an out, like a waiting your turn for the ATM kind of, right? And so you're just being mindful of that. And again, that first week that we're back, we'll figure it out. It's gonna take some time to figure out some logistics, but we have some really good ideas and we have a lot of plans in place. So I feel like it will be pretty smooth right from the start. So yeah, I will be in touch with that. I'm also going to make a video at some point this week, probably this weekend actually, with Ryan and Kellen, and I'll have Ryan video kind of Kellen pretending to come into school as a preschooler. And so that can be a video that you share with your kiddos so they know what it looks like. Kellen will be wearing his face covering and come into preschool, and I'll take his temperature and we'll kind of run through it and stuff. So kiddos have an idea of what that might look like. Um, and yeah, so be on the lookout for that as well. Um, let's see. So another piece that we really need to think about is we need to limit the amount of things that come into our classroom, like things from your home that come in. So we are coming up with like a backpack checklist. And so, like, basically anything that is coming to school needs to fit in a backpack. Um, and so, again, I will write up, like this exact list of what those things look like. And so I just have kind of a list that I can quickly, so something that's like, it's easy to carry, like the kid can, put it right on their back and come into preschool independently. And I was actually thinking about this and I was like, wow, like there's going to be a lot of independence that's really like spiked right now. And that's actually in my classroom, and for the explorers too, for sure, coming into the discovery classroom. Our kiddos in the discoverers classroom, they're going to be going to kindergarten in a few months, right? And so one of the things that Miss Katie and Miss Carol and I joke about, and we tell the kids, is like, it's kindergarten boot camp during the summer, right? It's really us getting ourselves ready to be independent and to keep our things together and to be able to go to our lunchbox and grab what we need and to be able to open things. And and this is like the perfect time to really work on some of those skills out of necessity. And also it's a great opportunity to really build that independence and to be prepared for kindergarten. So anyway, so like this backpack, like it has to be easy for them to carry and just to be able to come in. And so in the backpack would be like sunscreen, insect repellent, easy applicated or easily applied, sprays and things like that. Anything contactless would be, probably best. And so a bottle of hand sanitizer, all of, those types of things. A beach towel. We are not really sure what the guidance is, will be moving forward with like water play and that type of thing. But a beach towel in the sense of like, what a great way to set out picnics, and that sort of stuff. And to kind of already build in like a social distancing piece, like this is my space and this is where I'm eating my lunch, that sort of thing. So a beach towel, and then, sorry about that. Another thing, lunch, right? And so separating all of, our lunch items and snack items in the bins is not going to be something that we can do anymore. So everything has to be in one space. So, a lunchbox with ice packs in it, and then, like a picnic lunch. We're not going to be doing warm-ups anymore. So everything in like a lunch, box, and then in that, a morning snack bag and an afternoon snack bag, and a water bottle, and so making it as easy as possible for kids to be independent and to keep it all in one space is going to be key. So when it's snack time, it's like, it's going to be, grab your beach towel, and grab your morning snack. So they go right to their cubby. They're able to open, that up, get their snack, their towel, and their water bottle, and then we're rocking. The least amount of, oh, well, I don't want that snack right now, I want this snack, or I don't have enough, or any of those types of things. Like, we really want to try to eliminate that, just to streamline it and make it as easy as possible. So really kind of having a pulse on what that looks like for your kid and what they eat and what they need. Yeah, because there's not going to be as much flexibility with that. We're not going to be able to, give them like pirate booty or applesauce or whatever from, like the classroom stash kind of thing. So and then bringing your own utensils also. They can be disposable. They could be, regular utensils that they put back in their lunchbox at the end of the day. Totally, fine too. But those, we're not going to be doing, drinking cups and, like our utensils, right now. So just being, again, as independent and making it as easy as possible. And these are things also that, like we have to do for kindergarten, in my classroom. I remember that being kind of a shock when Kellen went to kindergarten. I was like, we can't do warm-ups anymore. Like I have to provide, like the utensils, and I have to do all these things. It was a shift for me, because preschool, just we had all that stuff there, and it was just easier. So again, really good practice for us as parents too, to get ready for that kindergarten transition. Let's see. Yeah, and then rest mats, and a pillow. So that's also going to have to be something, that we bring on Monday in like a closed, like garbage bag. And so a rest mat, a pillow if a child wants the pillow, and like one stuffy. So again, we're going to really try to limit the amount of things that come in. And instead of them being held, kept in the bathroom, we'll keep them in, our cubbies, everything in our own space. And we do have less kiddos this summer, so we will space cubbies out too, just to kind of provide an extra buffer. But we're not going to be able to bring in extra things, like all our little Hatchimals and sound circle things for the Discovery classroom, and that sort of thing. So it's really going to have to be limited to like one stuffy, one pillow, a rest mat, and then all of those things go in that bag and in their cubby each day. And then they can either be washed daily, which I know can be daunting, but parents are welcome to take them home each day as long as it comes back in the next day, or we'll just continue to do it weekly, which is also fine. There just won't be any, cross sharing. We won't be putting them in the bathroom anymore and stuff. It'll be in everyone's own space. And then, so those are the things that like kids need to come with like daily. And just really, if it can't fit in a backpack, it just like doesn't come, basically, you know what I mean? Like it needs to be like those things. So we really need to limit that. And then bikes and scooters, like we're going to do that every day. We're going to need to get creative with how we use our bodies, and we want some normalcy, and we want some cool fun stuff for the summer. So you're welcome to bring bikes and scooters every day, and we'll just leave them out in the front, or you can take them back and forth, or we'll put them in the back where it's locked up. We'll figure all of that out. But to use that daily, it's gonna be awesome. It'll be a really a great thing for kiddos, so it won't just be bike day once a week. All right, so that's kind of bring stuff to bring. One thing, I feel like this video is super long. One thing that, I mean, we're doing a lot of things, but one of the things that we are doing is we've been thinking about what it's going to look like in the classroom for like shared toys and things like that. And so we're going to be super mindful of how we play with toys. It's not going to just be a free choice in the classroom and there's 6 kids in the block area and that sort of thing. So being super logistic and spreading kids out, and then using materials that can be disinfected. And so it may look like there's 2 kids at a table, one on this end, one on this end, and they're doing Legos, but you have a certain pile of Legos that you're using, and you have a certain pile of Legos that you're using, and then at the end of that play time, all of those go into a bin, and those are disinfected before they come out for other kids to use. So we'll have a rotating, in both classrooms, we'll have a rotating, bin or two for disinfecting toys before they go out again to be used. And we're only going to be using materials that can be disinfected effectively. So all pillows, soft toys, those types of things are not going to be used. They're going to be put away because they can't be effectively disinfected right now. And so we'll be super diligent about that. We are also making individual bags for each kiddo that will have their own like art supplies for the summer, basically. So I just bought a whole bunch of stuff on Amazon for friends to use. And so each child in the beginning, hopefully on June 1st, I think everything should be here by then. Each kid will have their own set of markers, pencils. We'll put a whole bunch of paper in there. Everyone will have their own scissors, glue stick, colored pencils, pack of crayons, and like a little paint set for watercolor paints. It will be in a bag and it will be labeled, and that is something that they keep in their cubby. So anytime that they want to do artwork, they can go. We'll give them a designated space in the classroom. They can get their own materials. They sit down and they can do that. So that way we're not using, all of the same markers and pencils and all of those things and just constantly disinfecting. So that's one way that we're logistically kind of working around some of that stuff. So each kiddo will get one of those, which is awesome. And then we can focus more on being together and having fun and doing some cool stuff instead of just disinfecting all the time and worrying about, that cross-contamination piece. And then in the same thinking for outdoor toys as well, I bought everyone like their own hula hoop, their own jump rope, their own thing of sidewalk chalk, their own frisbee. So again, these are things that they can play with outside, and we don't have to worry so much about cross-contamination. We'll also have like a bunch of balls that kids can, play, toss with, kick, those types of things, because the transfer rate on like a ball is less than, other shared surfaces. So guidance says that balls are totally fine, and so we'll make sure to have a lot of those around too. So when we do go outside, because the majority of our day we're hoping will be outside, we'll have lots to do and lots of space to be in and do that. We also bought some pop-up tents to have in different places around the playground, so it not only provides shade, but we can split up into smaller groups and do some cool stuff. So we are definitely thinking about how we can appropriately socially distance ourselves, but still be connected and, all of those things. And, we're going to learn together how to do this, and to do it safely and to do it in a way that feels okay. Like we're going to be okay. And I'm so thankful that we have had almost the entire school year up until March. That's a pretty big chunk of it. And then a year and a half, almost 2 years with the kids that are in my classroom, we've had this time to build relationships. We've had this time for kids to know that this is a safe, awesome place to be, and that we love them and that we care for them, and that we work with them. So I think coming into the summer where things are a little different and we have to do some different things, I think that we're set up pretty well for that, because we've already established those relationships, and hopefully we've kept fostering them even through this, like with our videos and our virtual meetings and everything. We really tried to keep those relationships going, so when we were able to get back together, it would feel good and it would feel like coming home, right? So yeah. So where does that leave me? Let's see. And part of the social distancing piece, we're going to be staggering recess times. So we're not all out on the playground at the same time. So that's one thing that we'll do. We may even split up a classroom into smaller groups. Those groups will be kind of, switched up on different days, but just being really mindful of the kids that we have together on a certain day, and kind of keeping them together. And so again, we're not, just all in the same space at the same time. Um, and uh, we are learning more about the guidance of the like playground structure. And as of right now, we have the go ahead to be able to use playground structures. We just have to be able to disinfect them effectively. And so, super high touch areas, we'll have to be super mindful of, and limit the amount of kids that are on them, and appropriately disinfect, before another group of children uses that. So that's something that we're working on figuring out. But the great news is that we do have a lot of other things too that we're going to be doing. So I think that we can kind of put that in our rotation of things that we do outside, and do it effectively, and be in a good place for that, and feel good about that. Let's see. So that kind of leads into, just disinfecting, and making sure that our spaces are as clean as possible. We're definitely going to be ramping up, the classroom cleanliness. I mean, our classrooms are already, super clean and disinfected, but high touch surfaces, are going to hand washing, we'll make sure that those things are really beefed up quite a bit. To make sure that our environment is as clean and as safe as possible. Like I said, we're going to have those disinfecting bins for toys. We are working on creating hand washing stations. I think we are working on having one outside, so the hand washing between coming out and going in will be increased, which is awesome. And we also have our classrooms fogged each night, which sounds kind of strange, but basically it's just like disinfected. Like the whole space is disinfected each night, before the next day to use it. So yeah, I think on all of those fronts, we're in a really good place, and like I said before, have some really great resources to be able to do these things, and really be confident with those. That's all I had on my. It's all I had. 37 minutes later, that was a lot of information. Like I said, I'm sure that I missed touching on something that you're thinking about, or that you have questions about. I am more than happy to have conversations with you about anything that you're thinking. Via email is one of the easier ways to do it, but I'm open to phone conversations also. We're going to be back in the classroom on Tuesday. All of us teachers, our teaching team is back together, and we are super excited to be back. And I went into the classroom for the first time like a week and a half ago, and I have to tell you, it was a pretty emotional, powerful experience. It's been really hard to be away for so long, and I'm really looking forward to getting back in there and doing what we do best. If teachers are nothing else, we are at least creative, and we are logistical kings and queens. So I know that we'll figure this out together, and I'm just really excited to be back and doing it, and just being with our kids, and I cannot wait to see everybody. So that is that. I will be in touch with more information as we get closer. Definitely let me know if you have any questions, or you just want to talk something out. That's cool too. I've had a lot of conversations with families over the last week or so, just hashing some things out, and it's good. I'm more than happy to do that. I want you guys to feel comfortable. I want you to be psyched. I want you to be super excited to come back and feel confident that this is a great place for your kid to be, and emotionally and physically, and all of the things, to for them to get back. So that's that. All right. I hope that you guys have the best weekend. It's a long weekend. Yay, Memorial Day. um, yeah. So enjoy it. Enjoy the weather. Have a great time, and I will be back in a in the next couple of days with that mock drop off video that you can show your kiddos. All right. I will see you guys soon. Bye.